Listen really carefully. You know what that sound is? It's the sound of a new fucking episode. Holy shit.
Welcome back to the Oprah fucking Winfrey podcast. I'm your co-host, Stone Cold Steve Austin. We're the Thunderdome, a.k.a. the Brohio Studios. You can call me the delicious Nicolicious. I'm here with the cold-blooded killer.
The cold-blooded killer.
Rob Diggity Dangle.
I guess that's what you're going to call me on. I'll settle for that.
I'm the silent assassin, delicious Nicolicious. I'm here to pump up the volume. I'm here to snap some necks and cash some checks. We're talking about Project Stargate this episode.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
As a disclaimer, we always like to tell you if this content is best consumed under the influence of marijuana, we like to, tell you that at the beginning of the episode.
Or alcohol. That always works.
Alcohol's fine anytime, but
yeah, right.
Some of our episodes are a lot better when you have been injecting or smoking marijuanas. This is particularly
crack.
Or crack if you can still get that.
Right.
This is one of those episodes where you're going to want to do some of that crack, some of that
all right.
marijuana's CBD. They had that at Kroger today. CBD.
CBD oil?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm so shut off from drugs. I have no idea what anything is.
CBD isn't a drug.
People's like, you want to try this vape? I'm like, no, I don't want to die. I watch the news. I don't want to fucking die. How about that?
Oh, man, that whole vape thing kills me.
It does. Where is your vape? You just got beer today. Did you quit vaping?
Yeah, a long time ago.
They took it away from you?
No. I just smoked what I had.
Over it?
Yeah, I smoked what I had, and then afterwards I was done with it.
Send us some more vape stuff. P.O. Box 672, the Brohio Podcast, Vandalia, Ohio, 45377.
Or send us a turd.
Send us a fucking turd.
Vacuum seal it.
But for real, if you guys want to send us stuff to put on the walls of the Brohio Studios back here, you can see it on the YouTube channel. We'll happily display that stuff. If you want to send anything to our P.O. Box.
Or hate mail.
We've got hate mail before.
Hey, I'll take some more.
We've got anti-masturbation stuff in our mail before.
Yeah, we have. That didn't work.
Got a lot of stuff. A lot of weird stuff. So, we just want to, I don't want to necessarily say we apologize.
Hell no.
October is a really, really busy month.
Yeah, and if you guys, if you've been here for a little while since whenever we started to do live shows, it's kind of, when we have one coming within the week, we usually tone it down so we can research and make our live shows the best that they can possibly be under the circumstances that it's us.
We don't want to shortchange the people that are paying to come and see us.
Yeah, you're listening for free.
But if you are coming to the Dayton show, October 26th, Saturday at the Lucky Star Brewery, Miamisburg, Ohio.
Which is also free.
There's going to be a lot of visual content. We're going to be dissecting some stuff. There's going to be an actual episode. And there's going to be a little special segment that Rob and I are going to do where we might vomit on one another.
Hopefully.
Speaking of vomiting on one another, we'd like to thank our new Patreon subscribers.
Oh, okay.
I think you're there. Kick it off, Rob Dog.
We got Haley McNanny.
She's the nanny that brings McDonald's when she watches the kids.
Oh, man.
Those are the good ones.
What a sweetheart.
McCheckins everywhere.
Love it.
Miguel Arroyo, thank you so much for listening to the Brohio Podcast. Thank you, senor.
Jared Ishman. Thank you very much.
Saucy Mr. Wong.
That's so good. I like that a lot.
As if I had any question about the dicks that I wanted to suck. This man's going on the list.
We have a super white person's name, Paul Leonard. Thank you, Mr. Leonard, you white bastard.
Did you say Jared? You said Jared, didn't you?
What?
Jared?
Yeah, Ishman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, no. Mr. Mox Hammocks. Thank you, Mr. Mox Hammocks.
Hammocks. I love how you enunciated every single hammocks. Bree. Thank you, Bree.
Thaddeus McFarland. Thank you, Thaddeus.
You said Thaddeus.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Thaddeus.
Fattiest Thaddeus.
Thank you for your fattiest cock, Thaddeus.
Tana. Thank you very much, Tana.
Michael Byrne. Thank you, Mr. Byrne.
Dustin Wilson. That's the second whitest name on our list.
Richie Fierro. Not like the car Fierro. Not like the coolest fucking car to ever graze the land.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that.
Else.
Okay,
it's broken,
cool.
Rob. It's been a long time, bro.
Okay. James Rose. Thank you.
Thanks, James Rose. Sierra Schweizer. Sierra, thank you so much for your Patreon pledge.
And the last one, this is hard. I don't know if I can pronounce this one. J. Just the letter J.
Luckily, we have his email right here.
Yeah, let's give it out.
Julian V.
Julian V, thank you.
Thank you, Julian
Thank
V.
you.
So, guys, we're happy to be back with you.
It feels like it's been forever.
Yes. Yeah, like we just said, October is really busy for us. We got the live shows. Me, on the side, a little side hustle I've had for a long time, I DJ. I'm an ordained minister, but October, between being an ordained minister, DJing homecomings, and DJing weddings, it's every weekend in October.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the fall festivities. Just a super busy time for us.
Yeah, sports all the time for me, so it's not me because I'm completely out of shape up for the kids. It's a hectic time of year.
Yeah, but you know what I think's fucking disgusting?
Yeah.
Men with puffy nipples.
Oh, man.
If you have puffy nipples and you're a man, send us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. We want to get you hooked up with DDP yoga because we don't want men to have puffy nipples. As a woman, as a man, I'm not picky about much. I don't like it when there's leftover toilet paper. I think that's disgusting.
Like in your ass?
Yeah, like
Okay.
like crumb diddly I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's bad. Never encountered it, but I can imagine it'd be pretty fucking bad.
I would assume.
As a woman, you're about to get it on, your man takes his shirt off and he's got puffy nipples. What does that do to your psyche as far as trying to keep your vagine wet for the duration of the sexual intercourse when the man's got puffy nipples? What's that say about him? Does that say that he should have had a vagina? Could he defend you in a fight? Can he change your oil? Can he hang a picture on a wall? Can he spackle some drywall? Can he use a miter saw to cut some wood in half? What does it say about his manhood if he's got puffy nipples?
Or what about a Hank Hill ass?
Or a Hank Hill ass? I want to
Dude, we're thick bitches. We got it going on.
I'll go on the record right now. I've got some motherfucking badunkadunk.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I'll throw this thing out there, and I'll throw that ass in a circle for a Dr. Pepper.
Put that thing down, flip it, and reverse it, buddy.
Put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah, man,
I like it with my face crammed in the pillow. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Don't fucking play with me.
No, I would never.
If you have puffy nipples, turn us off.
just quit listening.
We have a fucking copyright. We can refuse you service if you got puffy nipples.
You got to be somewhere in the middle. You can't have full female nipples either.
No. But if you do have puffy nipples, it's fine. I've got a micro penis, so we'll just all hang out together. Like you said, put that thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, man.
I do have a small article for you this week.
Okay.
There's a fellow at my work. I give him a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people I give shit to, it's because I love him. You know, this guy, I just give him fucking shit. So,
sure.
But then he presented me with this article, and I said, I guess we're friends now.
Did we just become best friends?
Guess we're friends. It says, a New Jersey man allegedly threatened farmers who denied him sex with animals.
Okay.
This is from foxnews.com.
I see where this is going.
This is from the Trump Organization. A New Jersey man was arrested for asking local farmers permission to have sex. Hold on a second. Okay. My
right.
cellular device was buzzing me.
All right.
A New Jersey man was arrested for asking local farmers permission to have sex with their animals.
At least he asked.
And then threatening the farmers and damaging their cars when refused, the report said.
Okay.
You're going to give me some of that oinkadoodle-moo or I'm going to burn this motherfucker down. Richard Decker, 31, right, began sending the messages to Sussex County farms and horse stables in 2018. Okay, this has been going on for a while. Asking the animal caregivers if he could have sex with their cows and horses.
He don't discriminate.
I seen them horses out there in the field. I noticed they ain't got very big dicks. Trying to hook your female horse. What's the name of a female horse? A bitch?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Calf?
A bitch.
I want them bitches to see a real dick. A little white boy with a big old dick. When he was rejected by the farmers, Decker allegedly sent threats and placed homemade metal spikes on their driveways to damage their tires.
Damn.
In one case, he threatened to beat a farmer's wife with a wooden stick when denied permission. What if it wasn't a wooden stick? It was just a picture of his cock squeezing really hard.
I imagine just one of those little painter sticks. Super thin and won't even do anything.
Ask how, ask now. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
It just stings a little bit. You're like, ow. Stop that.
Ow. Several of the property owners reported their tires had been damaged by the spikes. Decker was arrested in Vernon Township on October 3rd after police searched his home.
Vernon Township. That sounds like a place that people would fuck animals.
How about old Mr. Decker? He's Decker the Dicker. He's a dick down your cows.
He has that look to him.
But it's funny. He wanted the cows and the horses. He wanted to try the whole entire buffet. He was going for surf and turf.
I don't trust anybody that doesn't visibly have any lips. So you look at him, he just got a mouth hole. There's no lips.
He looks like He reminds me of the guy that plays the fucking Joker right now. It's Joaquin Phoenix. That's what he looks like.
Dude, the movie's so good.
Speaking of that movie, I haven't seen it.
It's fantastic.
I did watch the Breaking Bad movie.
Haven't watched that yet.
I didn't like it that much. It
Okay.
didn't do a whole lot for me. And
Gotcha.
when I thought it was getting good, it was over. And I said, well, what the fuck? Breaking Bad was the most incredible television show.
Yeah, definitely.
And it would take a tall order to follow it up with something, worth it.
Yeah.
I think they did okay. I think they could have done a lot better, but but here in Dayton, at a movie theater that Rob and I frequent a lot, I guess last night or over the weekend sometime, there was during the climax of this Joker movie, this fucking guy gets out a cell phone, and everyone around him was like, put your goddamn cell phone up.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy stands up, and during the climax of the movie, when the Joker's going fucking crazy and just calls him mayhem. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
It's so good.
He whips his phone out and jumps up, and every man in the theater tackled him and just started beating the living fuck out of him because they thought that someone said gun.
Oh shit!
And they jumped on him and just started beating the holy fuck out of him.
Good.
Yeah, but it turns out it was just a cell phone and he was drunk. So
don't fucking go to a movie drunk. Don't be that asshole.
Yeah.
Especially during a movie where people are already freaking out about.
I'll beat that asshole.
It's definitely a must see.
Okay. I'm definitely interested.
Yeah. Go tomorrow while it's cheap.
Okay. I'm gonna take Paisley with me.
Tuesday's the cheap day.
Okay.
The end of the movie gets fucking crazy.
I'm gonna check it out for sure.
It's a really good look into the downward spiral of what mental illness can cause.
First time that, yeah.
And it's cool because you don't really get to see that, the decline of that character in any other movie.
Right.
So it's nice that you kind of get to see, and you don't. It doesn't really make the Joker likable, that's kind of what I was worried about going into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that you dislike him, but I mean, he's a bad guy. He's
okay.
So I mean, it still keeps that bad guy image.
I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah,
and I have 2 vouchers for free movies because the last movie I went to see, the theater was so goddamn hot that they had to drag me out because I had a heat stroke. What was it? It Too.
It Too.
I said, this place is so fucking hot, my nuts fell off. They said, here's 2 free vouchers for your troubles. And I got out of there. I got 2 free vouchers.
Man, go see it. It's worth it. Definitely. It's definitely worth the free voucher.
Gotta go put one of the little kitties to bed, and then I ripped a big old chainsaw fart right before I turn this recording back on. One other thing we failed to mention about the past few weeks, I've been deathly fucking sick.
Yeah.
I've had a fever for about 2.5 weeks. The day of the live show, that was a close one.
Yeah, he almost didn't make it.
I had to get injections in my throat that wasn't attached to a wiener, so that's the first time that's ever happened.
We thought he was going to die.
I made it, though.
Yeah, you did.
Fucked a horse and a cow, just like Mr. Decker here in New Jersey, and
it happens.
I made it. So, like I said, this episode is best consumed under the influence of marijuanas. So,
1, 2, 10. How many ever marijuanas you want to do?
Light them up.
Yeah.
You playing some Clash?
Yes, I am.
Do you like the new...
I was in the middle of a game whenever you came back down here.
Have you played the new Call of Duty on mobile?
Nope.
Oh, okay. If anyone listening is playing the new Call of Duty game on Android or iPhone, my username is Brohio Podcast.
Hey, look at you. That's usually what I use whenever I use Brohio Rob.
Okay, yeah. So, I guess I could have went with Brohio Nick. That would have been a little more fair.
Yeah, fucking asshole.
So, come find me on Modern Warfare. I got a kill-death ratio of about 4.5, so yes, I will probably fuck you up. I'm really fucking good.
All right, I'm quitting.
The only thing I'm good at, besides blowjobs,
I'll attest to that.
Yeah, I'm not really good at getting them. I'm a lot better giving them than I am getting them. I just get really nervous when I'm getting them.
Yeah, performance anxiety. It's a real thing.
I poop, I fart. We call it a blow fart.
Blow fart.
What's it called? A blumpkin?
A blumpkin, yeah.
That's the nastiest, dude. Even I think that's nasty. Even I think that's horrible. All right, so let's hop into Project Stargate. So let's precurse this by saying I wrote every single person attached to this project that's still between the age of 65 and 80. Not a single fucker got back to me. What one did to tell me no, that he was moving. He didn't want to talk about it. So we don't have a guest tonight, so that means we can talk shit about these guys as much as we want. There's nothing they can do. They can't defend themselves. And I think you guys like the episodes more when we don't have guests, so that we can tear them up a little bit. Because whenever we do have guests,
we have to play nice and respect them.
It was funny today. I was on Facebook and Zach Baggins put something up about. Somebody put something up about Zach Baggins trying to buy Ed Gein's, one of the super famous serial killers. He was trying to buy his brain. I guess his brain was donated to science. And then
do people really fucking care about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, people are into serial killers.
I don't know.
I don't know either. They're serial killers. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But one of the top comments was John Edmonds from the Stardust Ranch. He's like, "We skip buying that brain, come buy this goddamn ranch."
This fucking katana is getting dull.
But dude, he's really active on Facebook, and he comments on my stuff like he's an old family uncle. And
I love it. That's awesome.
I've made friends with some of these people that we've talked to.
He was a good interview.
Him and Ray Shemansky, the alien guy, he writes me all the time now. He's like, "Where's the best deal on ground chuck this week?" I don't know, Ray. Let's figure it out together, buddy.
I love that guy too.
Yeah, super good guys. We've learned a lot in our travels, Rob.
Yeah, we have. We're well cultured now.
Very well cultured. I still have a bit of a stuffy nose, so hopefully you guys can get past that.
Yeah. Oh.
I just took it all in right there.
I swore he wasn't doing blow.
Straight to the head. So, Project Stargate or Stargate Project, first, it went through 6 different phases, 6 different names. It was Gondola Wish, Project Grill Flame.
Ooh, that sounds like a good restaurant.
Yeah, it does. Project Center Lane. What, Fuddruckers, you ever have that?
No. I've had
it was okay. It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Dragoon Absorb, Project Sunstreak, and alas, Project Stargate.
Okay.
In 1978, during the peak of the Cold War, at a time when America watched and studied every move of the Soviet Union, there was, during the Cold War, it was pretty much a giant pissing test. There was no real war involved in the Cold War. It was just to see who could do things bigger and better.
It was just really low temperatures.
Yeah, and who just had the baddest weapon.
Okay.
I would have lost that fight. It'd be like,
yeah,
"Get out your weapons!" And I got
just pull out your little wiener.
And I got my weapon out, and he had been like, "I said, get out your weapon!" I'm like, "Oh, it's out, sir. It's out. Here's my weapon.
It's just so cold."
Yeah, cold weather is coming up. Really scary stuff.
You know, man, I love the mornings. Then it just kind of sucks after a little while in the afternoons.
I hate when I'm so cold my sack skin gets hard. You ever have that happen?
Turns an alligator skin.
Make some real nice boots out of these sack skins right here. Well, I don't need this sack no more. Got my house full of fucking kids. If you're watching the YouTube simulcast, you're probably wondering why we have a Frozen book here next to us.
This episode's going to be, it's definitely not going to be short of its own tangents. So we've already done a shit ton of them already. Yeah. We're making up for all the lost tangents that we've missed out on.
Sorry, bros.
We have a lot to say.
That's right. The peak of the Cold War, 1978. It's the Frozen book there. It's
our soundboard.
Yeah.
Our soundboard for the evening.
We upgraded. So the Soviet Union, they were doing a lot of crazy stuff. So I was kind of reading about some of the projects the Soviet Union was conducting, some of the stuff that America thought the Soviet Union was doing, and that was kind of it was a chess match. America would hear about what Soviet Union was doing, and then America would try and catch up with them.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was hearsay. They would hear the USSR was doing this, and they would say, "Oh, fuck, we got to do that now." But the Soviet Union wasn't really doing it. Some of the stuff they just weren't really doing. They were working on a thing called brain radio. The USSR was. There was swirlings that the Soviets were working on something called a brain radio, where they could send long-distance radio waves via your brain. So they were also using waves as a way to influence a person's thinking. So with these brain waves, what America thought is they were effectively influencing the thoughts of people thousands of miles away using these brain waves. This wasn't a machine. This was a fucking coming straight from the dome piece, okay? So they can influence the thoughts of leaders on other sides of the world using these brain waves.
All right, that's some superhero shit.
Yeah, this is what America thought was going on. Rush just they're like,
what's up?
We just figured out how to make fucking peanut butter and send it into space. These guys are sending brainwaves over the ocean. Then there was something called a combat mole.
All right.
Okay, this thing was real too. It was a nuclear-powered, 35-meter-long submarine-shaped vehicle, and it was like a giant auger, like a giant drill bit, and people could ride inside this drill bit. Okay?
Oh, hell yeah.
The first run is nuclear powered. The first run of this giant, it looked like a top you spit on top of the table. The first time they used this thing, they cut through a fucking mountain, dude.
That's pretty awesome.
They drove right through a mountain with this thing.
I'm not even gonna lie, it's pretty cool.
There was also they were using this. They would get into these mountains, and a lot of there's a lot of underground America has a lot of bases that are built into mountains,
right?
Like NORAD in Colorado, I believe. That's one of our most important bases. That's in a mountain. Okay, they essentially had a vehicle that could cut into the mountain undetected and attack these underground laboratories and attack these underground bases and bunkers. The second time they took this thing for a trip, the motherfucker blew up and killed everybody inside of it.
Oh,
so then Soviets are like,
it's got about a 50% rate of working.
Don't use this no more. We don't like this no more. Please.
It works 50% of the time, and it kills everybody on board the other 50%.
And they had it was kind of like HARP, what we have now, the Sira Ionospheric Heating Facility, or Sira, a Russian laboratory for researching the ionosphere, was set up in the 1980s, and they were trying to develop things that could influence the weather. So if they needed a fucking tornado, they could spin up a tornado. If they needed some rain because the crops weren't doing so well,
a drought.
Yeah,
easily solved.
They could swirl up some rain. These are some of the crazy things that the USSR and the KGB, this is some of the wild shit they were doing. But the dagger here, okay, and this is what takes us into our story. There was reports coming out of the Soviet Union that their military was developing soldiers equipped with psychokenesis.
Yes. And
these fucking guys were bending spoons strictly with their brains. And that was the rumor coming back to the U.S. military and the U.S. counterintelligence agency. These guys were fucking hurting shit, bending shit, breaking shit, only using their brains.
Hey, I really want this yogurt. Could you please bend my spoon back? Please.
I ruined my spoon eating your wife's ass last night. If you're the kind of guy that uses a spoon to eat ass, we don't want you listening to this show.
Turn it off.
We want people that are cheekbone to cheekbone, up in it, getting it done, ball smacking, butt flapping, doing the do. Bill Wilkins died in his own shit, just getting up in it.
Skid marks on your chin.
Not giving the motherfucking care.
Just a doo-doo eating boy.
Doo-doo eating. Shit slurping. I don't like that one.
Never mind.
Look at the shit slurpees out of this, you fucking weirdo. So not to be outdone, the U.S. military, more specifically the Defense Intelligence Agency, or the DIA, along with the help from the Stanford Research Institute, started the Gondola Wish Project, which would later be called Project Stargate or Stargate Project.
Whichever one, in case you want to switch them around.
Yeah,
they're interchangeable. No
matter what, if you talk to your friends about this, you're going to sound really smart because they're not going to know about it.
Exactly.
This was the United States answer to the Soviets. They were attempting to develop a psychic soldier of their own. Mm-hmm. So we have the what ifs here, Rob Dog. You would essentially create the ultimate spy or the ultimate intelligence officer. So I guess what you could do at this point, if you had a guy that you could you would lock in a dark room, and using his mind alone, he could project his body into an enemy submarine or a hostile government's war room. If you had someone like this,
like 11,
pretty much like 11.
Yeah, in the saltwater bath.
This fucking goddamn microphone's getting all droopy dicked on me, and I don't know what to do. It's just falling down.
Give us some Blue Chew.
Speaking of Blue Chew. Yeah. So you would essentially create the ultimate intelligence officer.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't subject this person to any danger whatsoever. This is a Project Stargate. These aren't really necessarily psychics. This is all about remote viewing. Okay, so these people can, and I've watched the demonstrations on YouTube. There's some people that still do it. You essentially lock yourself in this instance here, the way they're doing it, they're putting these guys in dark rooms, they're closing their eyes, and these guys can project their brains into Kim Jong-un's war room.
That's what they did to Tupac during that concert.
That was a hologram.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. How do we know?
Hail Mary, come with me. Rob Doggy, come with me. But if you had something like this, and a guy that could, even if he was only working, if he's much like my wiener, and only working 50% of the time, I'm just kidding. My fucking dick works every single time. So don't get me fucking twisted with one of them fucking.
You get about a good 85% out of it.
Yeah, I'm not one of them limp dick motherfuckers out there.
I ain't smashing you with the floppy.
Don't get it twisted. Put a bologna sandwich in me and I can do anything.
Man.
Oh, fuck.
Can you ever?
Yeah. U.S. military suspected that the Soviets were spending around 60 million rubles. Yes, rubles. And if
That's
some of
a lot
you
of rubles.
are probably wondering what rubles are, they are nipples off of a goat. So wonder no further what a ruble is. It's a nipple off of a goat. The U.S. military suspected that no, they like it. It feels good.
Okay.
They use the, dogs have a lot of nipples they don't use. They
They're
use
like
the nipples,
lizard tails that go right back.
Yeah, they use the nipples on the goat that they don't need.
Okay, gotcha.
Kind of like me.
You don't need more than 2 anyways.
I use the dick on the dog that he doesn't need. Anytime I need to use a dick on a dog.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, hey, get over here. Let me use that dick you don't use.
Anytime you need a lipstick.
Yeah. Red Rocket. They were spending 60 million goat nipples per year on psychotronic research. I haven't got a goddamn clue what psychotronic research means.
That sounds pretty cool, though.
But you and I both know that it's something really aggressive, something really intense.
Sounds like a crazy robot.
It is a really hard, crazy robot. Most of these secret government things we talk about are sometimes purely speculative. God, what was that?
My phone just fell out of my lap. It's okay.
Like, you can go get it. You can go retrieve it. I'll be here.
No, it's okay.
Okay. And a lot of this, and that's kind of what we hang our hat on, Rob Dog. We always cover stuff that's not necessarily the Russian sleep experiment.
Yeah.
Faker than all. Well, maybe not.
Russia does some weird things, so you never know, but it's probably fake.
There's a lot of things we cover that aren't necessarily... you can't nail it down as being 100% true. It's kind of hearsay here and there. The documents have been declassified. Project Stargate happened. When you Google Project Stargate, the first page of things you're going to get back are declassified documents from the CIA. You can read the transcripts. You can read the experiments. You can read where one of these remote viewers, Joseph McMonigal, this motherfucker went to Mars, okay? He remote viewed and he projected himself. He went to Mars and he saw shit. And you can read the back and forth between the CIA officer and Joseph McMonigal, what he actually saw when he was up on Mars 1 billion years from now. So they don't just project into present day. These guys, the subjects of Project Stargate, they can project into the future. So in that specific instance, and we'll get to it later, he gets an envelope, and he doesn't know what's in the envelope. They just give him the envelope, and they said, go here. And what the envelope said was 1 billion years in the future on Mars. And without seeing what was in the envelope, this guy went there, okay? And he he talked to these people, and he saw what was going on. And it was a different race. They were at their doomsday. They were at the end. They were trying to figure out what the fuck they were going to do next. And we'll get to that later.
Okay.
It's pretty cool stuff.
I can't wait.
You can wait.
I'm into it.
It's not that fucking cool, dude. It's actually pretty fucking stupid.
Spoiler alert.
I haven't done 69 in a long time.
Oh, damn.
I fucking hate my
life. That came out of nowhere. You've been holding that in this entire time.
No, man. I did it last night.
Okay.
My fucking dad wouldn't hold still. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, in January 2017, like I said, just 2 years ago, 12 million documents were made available to the public by the CIA referencing Project Stargate. And to go a little more mainstream here, the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats is roughly based off of this project. So if you go watch that movie, if you've seen that, I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
This brings a full circle back to the goat nipples.
It does. Men Who Stare at Goat Nipples. So here the CIA is jumping into parapsychology research, along with the risk of complete ridicule. And that was one of the things they worried about off the get-go, jumping into this shit, was getting made fun of by other people.
Loser.
Yeah, what if that's the easiest way around the system? Like, won't you quit being a fuckhead watching my fucking internet browser, you fucking piece of shit. I bet you got, dude, I used to work at a police department.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about the best way to get under a cop's skin, and I'm still friends with a lot of cops.
Yeah, me too.
Is to say, I bet you were picked on a lot in high school. That is the best way, because if they were picked on in high school, really strikes a nerve.
They have a vendetta, yeah.
And if they weren't picked on in high school, they were pretty cool, homecoming king or whatever, they want to be like, oh, I absolutely was fucking not picked on in high school. Boy, I tell you what, I'll shoot you in the fucking neck, and I will not go to prison because...
That's how it works around these parts.
But yeah, next time you're about to get a speeding ticket, just be like, I bet you were picked on a lot in high school, weren't you? Write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Let us know how much they beat your fucking ass.
Let us know how much your bail was.
Dude, it works, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I know where the voice is coming from.
Okay. All right, Elsa. Damn.
I'm going to take this Frozen book away from Rob Dog. So think back into the beginning of the Ghostbusters when Bill Murray is showing flashcards to Rick Moranis and that really pretty girl. That's kind of how the research started whenever the CIA started doing this stuff. They started off with flashcards, and they had to get certain success rates from certain people, and some of these guys were hitting the flashcards at a success rate of 60 to 70%. Ooh, okay?
That's more than 50%.
That is more than 20%. That's not guessing, buddy.
No.
That's kind of halfway. Anytime you're
It's kind of educated guesses.
Yeah, if I go into my next work review and they say, you do a really fucking good job 60 or 70% of the time, I'd say, that's not that bad. Because there's a lot of people here that do a really shitty job all the time.
Yeah.
But here I am fucking rocking it out 60 or 70% of the time. I'm fine.
I'm the 30 or 40%er.
I am not the 60 or 70%er.
Definitely not.
If people are like, we're having a pizza party, then that's when I really shine, okay? That's when I really, really shine. You would think that something like this would be nothing more than a speed bump, that the delve into this research, the remote viewing stuff, you would think the CIA would get into it, say, okay, what do we got here? Doesn't fucking work. Let's keep it moving. But they would fund it briefly. You would think that they would fund it briefly and then see that it's all bullshit and move on. That's not the case. This project remained funded for nearly 30 years,
which makes you wonder why would they be dumping all this money into this project if they weren't getting some sort of a good outcome?
Oh, they were getting some stuff. That's on the account that people that were utilizing the program were not just guessing at things and occasionally getting them right. They were having high success rates that were completely unexplainable. The project was said to have been based out of Fort Meade, the Army there. So there was the CIA project, and then that branched into the Army doing it as well. So this wasn't just one agency. The CIA had their guys, and then the Army started having their guys. And the CIA was kind of picking guys off the streets, whereas the Army were they were getting people that were coming through the Army. Just people of extreme intelligence. They were saying, all right, we think this guy can read fucking minds. We're going to take him. That sounds like some shit the Army would do. When I hear my buddies tell me Army stories, I'm just like, how the dude? The Army is like the fucking trailer park of the armed forces. I hate to fucking say that, but I know we have 1,000 people from the Army right now. Fucking you piece of goddamn shit. Oh, fucking third-degree Green Beret. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you do. As we know, the Army is the biggest branch in the military.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of our service members. But I do believe the Army is a trailer park of the armed forces.
Oh, man.
You think I'm right?
No comment.
But then you meet a Marine, and they're like, I don't feel nothing when I get hit in the fucking head. Hoorah, buddy. I like it. Here we are, fat pieces of shit that have never done anything with our lives.
No, not at all.
Again, thank you for your service. We appreciate your sacrifice. And I really mean that. I really do.
Definitely.
Okay. So it was said to have been based, the Army
God damn it.
branch of it was said to have been based out of Fort Meade in Virginia. It was, and a lot of people that refer to it said it was an old, damp, leaky barracks, just like my vagina. It's just like a old, damp, and leaky. Just bad, man. That was my daughter's Google Home in the next room.
Okay, I was like, what the hell was that?
Rob's like, there's a man in the house. No, he only comes over when I'm at work.
Someone's projecting himself into the house.
Yeah.
He only comes over when you're... God, you can't say things like that. That slipped under the radar.
So to fully understand what we got going on here, we're talking about remote viewing.
Yeah.
So let's take a more in-depth look at what remote viewing is. According to, where we get all of our research, Wikipedia, is the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or unseen target, purportedly using extrasensory perception, ESP, or sensing with the mind. Remote viewing experiments have historically been criticized for lack of proper controls and repeatability. There is no scientific evidence that remote viewing exists, and the topic of remote viewing is generally regarded as pseudoscience. Typically, a remote viewer is expected to give information about an object, event, person, or location that is hidden from physical view and separated at some distance. So like we said, there was an unclassified 1972 report that went to the DIA, which we referred to earlier, and it expressed concerns that the, quote, Soviet efforts in the field of psi research, or psychokinesis, or psycho whatever, what are these psycho words?
Psychopathic.
Soviet efforts in the field of psi research sooner or later might enable them to do some of the following: know the contents of top-secret U.S. documents, the movements of our troops and ships, and the location and nature of our military installations. B, mold the thoughts of key U.S. military and civilian leaders at a distance.
Nice.
C, cause the instant death of any U.S. official at any distance.
Nice.
D, disable at a distance U.S. military equipment of all types, including spacecraft.
That's pretty damn powerful, if you ask me.
This is a unclassified document that the DIA has in their hands in 1972. They say, oh my fucking God, the Russians have done it. They can do all this stuff. They don't need rocket ships anymore. They've got these they've got these psycho soldiers. They don't need rockets and guns anymore. It's completely out of control at this point. So the Soviets actually, part of their experiment, they were electrocuting kittens and decapitating baby rabbits and monitoring the brain waves of the mother in separate rooms to see if the mother could feel the pain from the distance.
That's kind of fucked up.
It is
kind of. I mean, it's really fucked up.
I love cats.
I know.
Not a lot of feelings towards rabbits. Got a lot of feelings towards cats.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it, a fucking rabbit. I've heard they taste good.
They do taste good.
You've had rabbit?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I fucking hate you, dude. It's disgusting.
I'm weird. If I see like any type of weird meat, I'm gonna eat it.
Oh, I know. That's all I had to say. Like, some really weird meat I got here.
You should see some of the weird things I've put in my mouth.
Oh my God.
I'm doing the Lord's work over here.
You really are. The Soviets screened their military recruits for psychic and telekinesis abilities. In the experiments, they would have the recruits attempt to stop the hearts of small animals or foreign leaders.
Okay.
They would say, okay, let's stop the heart of this rabbit or George Bush. Fucking, I'll do the rabbit. I lost my spot here. They would also give them the opportunity to beam negative PSI particles towards the enemy. The ones who showed promises were pumped full of different types of drugs. Also, during these experiments, they would said to have developed an electromagnetic device that could cause strokes and heart attacks, as well as psychotronic generator, which could scramble people's brains from a distance. This is all the information the U.S. government's taken in, and they're fucking flipping. They're flipping out, man. They're thinking the Russian that's light years ahead of what America. I don't think we can do this right now. I don't know,
man.
Although
I don't know, that's pretty crazy to think about.
I think one of our episodes coming up will definitely be the conspiracy behind 5G.
Okay,
because I hear a lot of bad stuff about 5G.
Yeah, me too.
It's just microwaving your body.
Bring it on, fuck it.
Really cool. Hopefully it helps me lose some more weight.
It makes my internet faster, so I don't give a shit. Kill me, daddy.
How much faster internet do we need, though? I mean,
man,
if your internet's performing okay, I mean, we get the reg around here is 100 megabytes per 100 megabytes per second.
Yeah. I just want to get to a point to where I can be uploaded into the internet.
Well, and I've read about that as well.
Then I can just stay on Pornhub all day long and just fuck constantly.
Well,
is that how that works?
No.
Oh, okay.
What I was reading, so they're trying to get to the point where they can essentially download your consciousness onto a thumb drive.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
So after Rob Dog dies, your family's obviously going to be sad.
Yeah.
Your wife's going to be upset that you're gone. So what they're saying can happen within the next couple decades is they can take your feelings, your humor, your thoughts, the things that make you laugh, the things that make you upset, and download your entire Rob Dog consciousness onto a computer. So that way, after you're dead and gone, so we have a lot of brilliant, not necessarily you and I. This podcast doesn't have to go on forever. But who's the fucking guy that does Tesla?
Elon Musk.
A fucking brain like that.
Yeah.
We could use that brain for light years to come. That's a brilliant person.
Definitely.
You can essentially download his brain onto a computer and then just flip it on when you need him and you have Elon Musk right here. Because a computer has a lot of different variables, but it can't quite think on its feet like a human does.
Right.
Can do a lot of shit. And some people are out there like, computers can fucking do anything. No. Computer can't smack your fucking kid when it's, climbing on top of the counter and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they're going to be able to just put Rob Dog on a computer. Your wife's sad one day, you're dead. And she just plugs in the computer and you pop up like, oh, I got a fucking boner, want to fuck? And it's just, the computer's just like you.
Hopefully my computer's dick's bigger.
Yeah.
I'd be sad if they gave me an even smaller one.
You couldn't afford one with a dick, so your wife gets a computer. Just you talking, she never plugs it in.
What if that's the hang up? Like, it's like, we can bring him back as a robot, but his dick is going to be even smaller. She's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, you can make it smaller?
No thanks.
Yeah.
Just throws it in the fire.
I'm not buying the computer. Jesus. Initially, a laser engineer from Stanford Research Institute was given a grant of $50,000 from the CIA to work on the parapsychology research. And $50,000
That's not shit, dude.
in terms of military spending,
that's nothing.
That's nothing. Like, we're going to give you enough money to get lunch for 5 people for a month. Beyond that, you're on your own.
That's like the price of like a new car.
You're going to go to this website, GoFundMe.com, and you're going to beg.
Right.
You tell everyone your uncle died in a fucking car accident when he was really on drugs. This laser engineer immediately started working with a man by the name of Ingo Swann. And Ingo Swann was much like these weird guys in the 60s and 70s, much like an Aleister Crowley, just a weird fucking guy that was in the media. He was one of the more progressive people when it came to remote viewing. There was one instance in New York City where they had a party in 1971. They had a bunch of people that could remote view, allegedly remote view, and they put them all in a dark room, and they started fucking taking pictures of everybody. It sounds like an orgy to me, and you gotta think about what an orgy felt and smelled like in 1971. I promise it didn't smell like Axe body wash because they didn't have it, and I know their pubes are really long.
Definitely.
A lot of people still grow their pubes out. I don't like it. I think it's with the scientific progression we've made with razors, there's no reason to have long pubes that trap all the sweat and stink. You feel me?
No, I'm all on that train, man.
But if you're someone like me who's too big to get to the nooks and crannies, sorry, find someone that can help you out with it.
You gotta fashion one of those selfie sticks. Just tape the razor to it.
That's what I do.
And it works.
Well, my kids help me with it.
Yeah.
During this picture session where they're taking pictures in this dark room, a mysterious orb or ball of light appeared over Ingo Swann's head in many of these pictures.
Okay.
So to people watching from the outside, they're like, okay, this guy might actually have some kind of divine intervention going on. Something, he might be a little bit extra, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
He did some remote viewing sessions where he traveled to Jupiter. And
nice.
and he called many things about Jupiter before we even knew, like the rings around Jupiter, or the way the dark spots on Jupiter. He knew all of these and said all of these things during a remote viewing session.
He knew that we went to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Yeah, that's where all the boys go.
Not exactly.
But he was some kind of, guru when it came to this stuff, because he called all these things. So the U.S. government, what they kind of had their eyes on him at this point. And there was one, he also did a remote viewing session where he went to check out some secret ET bases that are on the moon. Nice. And if you watch the media, there's a lot of media people out there, pundits, that do think that aliens have bases on the moon. And that's not something that's completely new. And this guy allegedly remote viewed and went to several of these bases. And one shocking experience with a scantily dressed female ET in a Los Angeles supermarket, he concludes that ETs are living on Earth in humanoid bodies.
I hope he fucked one.
I hope he did too. Swan deduces that there are many ETs, that many are bioandroids, and that they are aware that their only foes on Earth are physics. Later, Swan, an individual known as Mr. Axelrod,
that's what I call my wiener,
definitely had a huge cock.
Right.
They took a flight to an unknown northerly destination deduced by Swan as possibly Alaska. Along with two twin bodyguards, Swan and Axelrod attempt to secretly watch a recurrent UFO appear and suck up the water of a lake. Mr. Axelrod discloses that the silent, growing, oscillating triangle is simultaneously scanning the area and eliminating any animals in the area, and that the silent beams emanating from the object were blasting deer or porcupines from the woods or something.
Holy shit.
The twin bodyguards come to attention they've been discovered, and the group is attacked by the UFO. Swan was thrown to safety by his colleagues and sustained a minor injury. But the thing was, so he's seeing some crazy shit.
Right.
But there was some remote viewing that he was doing that the U.S. government was like, there's no fucking way he could know this. And he knew things that he wasn't supposed to know. So the government said, we got to move on with this. There's something we got here. So the CIA, they started using this Ingo Swann guy.
All right.
Then they had a lot of other remote viewers that came forward. First, this guy by the name of Pat Price. He looked like a fucking scumbag. I saw a picture of him.
Real quick, I want you to take a little drink of that.
Okay, I need a drink of something. Salted caramel ale. That was really weird.
Isn't that fucking great?
It's good.
It blew my mind when I took a drink of it. It's
Where's
a
that
cream soda beer.
Tell them where
Rivertown.
it's from.
Rivertown Brewery.
I know some of us can sit and wonder about the glory days, and we think the glory days have passed us by. But that's not true, guys. We can relive those glory days with the help of Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex for a second. Not good sex, let's talk about great sex for just a second. If you think your performance in bed has kind of fell to the wayside over the past years, well, I got just the thing for you. Blue Chew, BLUECHEW. That's Blue Chew, just like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you that first chewable pill that is FDA approved, and it's got the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know what that's going to do for you. The best part about Blue Chew, guys, is it's ready to go anytime you're ready to go. Hungry, not hungry, day, night, afternoon. If you're ready to go, Blue Chew is ready to go. And I've even noticed in my own sex life since I started taking Blue Chew, there's another gear. It's like an overdrive for Nickalicious. Longer, stronger. I'm there to get the business done, and when the business is done, I'm ready to start over and do things all over again. If you think this is something you can benefit from, then give Blue Chew a chance. That's right, guys. It's all done online. It's prescribed by a licensed physician, so no awkward doctor's visits. There's nothing you gotta be afraid of. What are you guys waiting for? And Brohio has made it easier than ever to try your Blue Chew for free. That's right. You just go to BLUECHEW.com. Use the promo code Brohio. You're going to get your first shipment free of Blue Chew. All you got to pay is the $5 shipping. What a deal, guys. It's the better, cheaper, faster choice. We are so thankful that Blue Chew has sponsored the Brohio podcast. And as a thank you to any new customers for Blue Chew, you send us a screenshot of your order, we're going to send you some free Brohio stickers, guys. Get a big old boner, make some great sex, make some incredible sex, get some free stickers. This is Nicolicious from the Brohio Podcast. Blue Chew. Promo code Brohio. All right, back to Pat Price. In June of 1973, and this is from a CIA officer, quote, he was extraordinarily accurate, unbelievably accurate. And this is from a CIA official on a series of remote viewings performed by Pat Price. He was a former Burbank, California police officer who participated in a number of Cold War-era remote viewing experiments, including the U.S. government-sponsored Project Scan8 and the Stargate project. In one experiment, the CIA gave Price the coordinates of a, quote, Soviet site of great interest. So they wouldn't say, you're going to a mountain here in northern Russia, you're going here. They would just give him a longitude and latitude. They give him a coordinate, and they would say, tell us about this coordinate. Okay? And then he would go into his remote viewing session.
Okay.
Once the session started, Price began to see a large crane, and when I say crane, it was like a square frame on a train rail.
Okay, so it wasn't like the bird.
No. No, it was not a bird.
Okay.
In the layout of some buildings, the CIA was able to compare his sketches with the satellite imagery and confirm that he was seeing the right location. And I looked at the pictures.
This is before Google Maps.
Right. This is way before Google Maps. I looked at the pictures that he sketched out during his remote viewing session, and the pictures of the crane itself, it is fucking unbelievable what the uncanny...
Really accurate?
Oh, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And he's drawing this stuff with his eyes closed, and he's in a fucking room in Virginia somewhere.
Huh.
And it looks, and no American had been to this place, okay? And he's drawing this crane. Then they had him view what was going on inside the building. Price described an odd 60-foot sphere under construction. 3 years later, the sphere was rolled out of the building, and Price's visions were verified, being within 18 inches of the actual measurements.
Dang, that's close.
And it looks like a big sphere. It looks like a perfect globe, this thing. And he sketched it out perfectly with the spikes and everything on it, dude. It's really uncanny.
So he drew a big circle.
He did, a really big circle.
He killed it.
You're doing a really good job, Patty.
Can you just imagine if he really did just sketch a circle, and then like they're just waiting for like something circular to come along? They're like, holy shit, he knew.
Just slides it across the table. My work is done here.
This is what I drew.
The CIA found that this was a particular beam weapon being built to shoot down U.S. satellites. Quote,
Man.
Price, who had no military or intelligence background, provided a list of project titles associated with current and past activities, including one of extreme sensitivity. Also, the code name of the site was provided. Other information concerning the physical layout of the site was accurate as well. So he's just pulling this stuff out of his hat, dude.
It's impressive.
Yeah. A few years later, the Price story became even more complicated after the FBI raided the Los Angeles office of the Church of Scientology.
And why would they do that?
Among the documents they found were records of briefings that Price, a church member, had routinely given to a senior Scientology official about the SRI and CIA activities. These included descriptions of highly classified operations and the names of undercover agency personnel that Price had agreed in his CIA and SRI contracts to keep secret.
You done fucked up now, Pat.
And we go back to our Scientology episode. We know that thousands of Scientology members had infiltrated the U.S. government and were in high-ranking positions.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
I'm back. I went and took some nose spray, so hopefully I don't sound as stupid. All right.
We'll see if that changes that.
Jesus Christ, man, my nose. I'm still sick, but here I am, soldiering through.
Trooper.
So back to Pat Price here. He's a member of Scientology, and there's definitely some corruption going on there. But to say that he knew all these things because he was a Scientology member would be, I don't think they were that deep into the government. You know?
Yeah, and I would say not.
But here was the problem with Pat. It said that he lived off strictly Pop-Tarts and Coca-Cola Classic.
Oh, God.
What kind of guy?
Poor dentist.
Can you imagine what his cum tasted like?
Oh, God.
Tastes like fucking Waffle House grease. It tastes like that dumpster in the back that catches all the grease at Waffle House. Why do they put McDonald's inside a Walmart when there's a such thing as Waffle House? Why would they not put Waffle Houses inside Walmarts?
That's so much more fitting.
Think about the possibilities.
Man.
Subways inside Walmart? No. They need to put Waffle Houses inside.
Subways are the most disappointing
I
places
know.
to go in the world.
I fucking hate Subway, dude.
Let me get 6 inches thick of bread and then a little bit of fucking meat.
Just like my wife.
Oh, God.
No, she's not getting 6 inches of meat at all. Maybe she lets me do it 3 times. So this dickhead Pat, he's living off Pop-Tarts and Coke. It gave him extreme heart problems.
Yeah, you fucking think?
So there was a day that he was traveling all around the United States, but he was still closely under the thumb of the United States government, all right? So they kind of knew about he was still participating in these projects and experiments. He had to go to somewhere to visit a son, but he ended up the day in Las Vegas. And at this point, the Soviet Union had got wind of the things that Pat Price was able to remote view. So the Soviets are extremely unnerved at this point. They're kind of worried about this Pat Price guy and the progressions he's making in remote viewing and the insight that he's able to achieve using his remote viewing skills, all right? So this day that we're talking about, Pat Price is going all around the United States, flying around. He ends his day in Las Vegas with his wife. He's going to go on a little trip with his wife here.
Nice.
And he's there with some type of coworker or someone close to him, whether it be a family member. I don't remember specifically, but I do know they went into his room at one point and he looked like he was about to fucking pass out. He's fucking white and sweating. And they say, you know, are you okay? What's wrong with you? And he's like, oh, my fucking chest hurts a little bit. I'm kind of, something's wrong with me. I don't know. And I think he was seen by someone or they got him some medicine and he started to feel better. He was fine. So they left him alone in the room. He wasn't gushing sweat anymore. Everything had kind of cooled down. And then they went back and he was slumped over and he was dead in his hotel room. The mysterious thing about this, before they could even say heart attack, poisoning, whatever it could have been, he was cremated. It was
fishy.
He was cremated before anyone could say what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
It got the
blame it on the Pop-Tarts.
The family started reaching out like, hey, what's going on with the autopsy? How did he die? And they said, he's already been cremated. And they didn't ask to have him cremated. They didn't ask, they didn't say what they wanted done with him.
It was a remote viewer.
It was a remote viewer. I don't know what it was. So this leads you to believe that they say that his death was faked by the CIA to protect him from the Soviet Union.
Okay.
Or, more specifically, he was whacked by the KGB.
Okay.
And there was one gentleman that went on TV a few years after the death of Pat Price, and he was a former KGB agent. And he said one of the most one tactic that the KGB teaches is they delve into the medical records of people that they are looking to assassinate. And they use the medical records to make it look like a natural death. So if someone has a problem with a brain aneurysm, they'll hit the fucker in the head and try and make it look like it was a brain aneurysm. In this instance, if they find someone that has extreme heart conditions, they pump them full of adrenaline, whatever, blow their hearts up. This guy also said that he recalled one kill situation where he was sent to Las Vegas to assassinate someone from the US government, which he did execute that killing. So that leads you to believe that maybe the KGB and the Soviets had a hand in the murder of Pat Price. There was also a very strange man that ran into Pat Price before he fell ill that night. His family said that they were just walking around and just out of nowhere, this guy just runs into him. And it was a really weird exchange, the way the guy ran into him and didn't really say anything and kind of shielded his body and didn't really want to show his face after ran into him. Then
He could have pulled a Dexter and hit him right in the neck with a needle.
when Pat Price was rushed to the emergency room, some random guy that no one knows who he was, he didn't say where he came from, just some guy in a fucking hat comes into the emergency room with Pat Price's full medical record.
Oh.
Thick ass folder of his medical record and gives it to the doctor, said, "Here, this is for him," and then just fucking leaves. And no one knows who he was, why he had Pat Price's full medical record.
Just a list of all of his favorite Pop-Tarts.
But it seems like if they did utilize this tactic to kill him using things that were already wrong with him, and the doctor, a doctor would say, there's something fishy about this. But if you just have some guy that walks in and says, "Here's all of his receipts for all of his fucking Pop-Tarts and Coke," the doctor just say, "Okay, he's dead from a heart attack.
Yeah.
Case closed. No need for an autopsy."
He had to have been a fat dude.
He was a fat piece of shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if he lived off
Not
of Coke
like
and
morbidly
Pop-Tarts.
fat. He just looks like one of those, I don't know, just an old man that's probably like 270, 280, probably like 5'2", 5'3".
I was picturing like a guy that had to like bathe in a trough.
No.
Okay.
He was a police officer, so he was kind of put together a little bit.
I love seeing fat cops. It's just like, I would just love to run from you.
Yeah.
Just watch your fat ass wobble.
Come get me, bitch. So that's kind of strange about Pat Price. Pat Price did some remote viewing sessions, and he said that there were 3 very important alien bases all around the world. Okay. The first is at Mount Perdido, which is in the Pyrenees Mountains between France and Spain. It says a famous set of caves in the Pyrenees have ancient drawings of ancient astronauts and flying spacecraft.
There's a lot of hieroglyphics that do that they'll show of.
Yeah, man, like UFOs have been around since the beginning of time.
Yeah, which,
just this week, DeLong finally showed a picture of the piece of metal they found.
Oh, see, I didn't see that.
And looks like tree bark or like an infected nutsack. It doesn't look very becoming. It doesn't look like space metal. It just looks like an old ball sack, like an old something they knocked off an old tree.
Huh. There's a lot of hieroglyphics, ancient hieroglyphics that depict visitors, otherworldly visitors, and saucers or alien shape. That's it makes you wonder.
Yeah, there's something to it.
They've probably been here way longer than what we have.
Oh yeah, not here, but out there longer than we've been here.
Well, they even could have been here.
Yeah, and they're pissed off for fucking it up now.
They could have fucked the shit out of monkeys, and then there we came.
I wonder if any of them fucked my mom. Huh. Mom, if you're listening, let me know if there was anyone besides Dad that I need to know about. Okay.
Yeah,
she's gonna get so important. Mad when she listens to this. She's gonna call me a son of a bitch. And
why would you say that, Nick?
Now there was a second base that he referred to, aka this is Mount Purdue. It's a 11,000 foot high. Yeah, that's right. It's the 3rd highest mountain in the Pyrenees. It's about a quarter of an inch west of Andorra.
What?
Maybe on a map, okay? Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine?
You're going to go down there at the end of the driveway, and you're going to turn right for about a quarter of an inch. And once you turn right for a quarter of an inch, and you're going to run right into that fucking mountain. Right there it is. And he said, Price reported that the main base was protected around a 2-mile perimeter with detectors. That's a lot longer than the quarter-inch stro we talked about before. Several craft were in the launch recovery area and had what looked like an electromagnetic field propulsion system. Price's next underground base location is Mount Inyangani, the highest mountain in Zimbabwe. I know I got that one right.
Yeah.
Formerly Rhodesia, Africa. Actually, it's, quote, more of a maintenance and tech center, Price viewed. This base looks like overhaul and maintenance unit. I see lots of spare equipment. Parts are being welded in a vacuum area with window area that parts are fused. A grayish-white powder is pasted on both parts, then fused. His attention was drawn to a unit that several were working on. It's a tubular grid system for ionizing a layer of air. Price's next underground base... I already copy and pasted that twice.
Right here.
Yeah, Price returned to the site and saw vehicles from the other bases with each having different ID marks that correspond to each site's different functions. Mount Zeal had personnel from all bases and is the Homo sapiens introduction point, he observed. Price also noted that the site should be approached with caution and that the area was under alert at the moment. This Price guy, he's all over the fucking place. He did these Russian cranes, but then he's also seen these underground alien bases as well. So and that's what all of these remote viewers, they were kind of into, man, is most of them talk a lot about aliens, and their arms weren't twisted to talk about aliens. And this is not an alien episode, so I don't want to go too crazy into aliens, but a lot of these guys say, yes, there's underground bases and there's aliens all over the fucking earth. So if the remote viewers say it, then you know it's true.
It's got to be true.
Just like
60% of the time, it works.
Just like Facebook, you know it's
there you
true.
Go.
Fuck you, Snopes. Yeah. And one of my most favorite characters in this story is one Mr. Joseph McMonigle. He was coined with the title Remote Viewer Number 1. And I did reach out to him. He did not return my email. So
he left John Reed.
As far as you go, Joseph McMonigle.
Eat a dick.
I hope you fucking die in a car fire.
Oh, God.
Yes. He's said to have remote viewed a large warehouse 100 yards from the White Sea in the USSR, which the U.S. intelligence were clueless to its contents. Joe described a brand new type of submarine far bigger than ever seen before, with slanted missile tubes and a unique double hull structure. His findings were ridiculed, since why would anyone build a submarine in a landlocked building? Which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone the biggest ever made. Joe McMonigle replied by telling them when it would launch and when the intelligence agencies got their data from a few days after the date he gave them. This is where it gets really hairy. So a few days after he said it would happen, they get their intelligence report. They saw a newly dug channel to the sea and an enormous submarine setting by the quay.
Oh. What do you know?
Who gets the last laugh on that motherfucker? In another remote viewing session, and this is the one I'm talking about. You can go online and you can get the full transcripts from this back and forth with this CIA agent. They woke him up from a nap. So they wake up Joseph McMonigle from a nap, and they hand him an envelope. He was not allowed to open the envelope until the remote viewing session was over. Soon, he was in some far-off, uncharted land remote viewing. He described a civilization in dire shape, intersecting roads, aqueducts, channels, and pyramids. Giant pyramids. During the session, he is repeatedly directed to focus due to him just being in awe of something. So there's times during this interview, this remote viewing session, where he would just stop for like a half an hour and just be like, oh my God. And the guy doing the interview would be like, hey, come back, Joe. I need you here. Tell us what the fuck you're seeing. And he's just like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is incredible. Like the second time you get a blowjob, because the first time isn't that good. Because
they use too much teeth automatically.
But the second time, you know what daddy likes. You know what daddy wants. So the second time, you're like, oh yeah, that feels good. And that's what he's doing here. He's like, oh my fucking God, yeah. Look at all this cool fucking shit. Like when I go to Lowe's now as a grown man.
Oh my God, I'll tell you what.
I like Menards better.
Any hardware store, I'm getting hardwood from it. You know,
I'm getting flatwood.
I can't fix shit, but I love that. I love the thought of fixing something.
I just like to look at it.
Smell it.
Just look at this right here. During the session, like I said, he's repeatedly directed to maintain focus on the task at hand. At one point, he makes contact with living entities during this remote viewing session. Their situation is said to be in a critical state, and their entire, I guess, the humanity where he's at, they're on the brink of apocalypse. And it's said that this civilization that he came upon had purportedly sent members of their civilization on a mission to find a new place to inhabit. These tall, shadowed figures appear to be in a state of hibernation, awaiting the return of their search party. When he asks if these entities can perceive him, they describe him as something of a hallucination. So during this remote viewing session, the CIA agent tells Joseph McMonigle, they said, try and talk to these entities that you're seeing. Try and talk to them, try and make contact with them. So he reaches out to the entities, and the entities that he is in the remote viewing session with, they can perceive him, but they describe him as more of a hallucination.
There you go.
First time jitters here. So they see that he's there, but they're like, oh my God, what the fuck am I seeing right now? Right? So at the end of the viewing, McMonagall opens up the envelope to see where he was supposedly projected to, and the envelope said he was supposed to go to Mars approximately 1 million years BC. I'm sorry. Isn't that fucking twisted, dude?
That is.
And that would be something if you were like, here's a story about 1 million BC on Mars. If I read that story, I would be like, yeah, that sounds kind of fucking believable. It sounds like something I would be like, okay, this is what I think's happening on Mars 1 million years from now. And this guy had no idea what was in the envelope when he started describing the situation. That's the craziest part. He opens the envelope after the remote viewing session. There's no, out of all the stuff they could have put in the envelope,
Yeah.
they could have been like projected fucking rallies on Wayne Avenue in Dayton. I see two podcasters getting they're sucking each other's cocks. I think they try to portray themselves as not being homosexuals, but I think they're gay. I think that's. I love when people leave us reviews and they're like, "Would you just fuck each other and get it over with?"
Little do they know.
Yeah, hop on iTunes, leave us a review, preferably a 5-star review. We like those.
Yeah. And we've been fucking each other for over 15 years, so I don't want to hear it.
We were just talking today about one of the first nights we spent together.
Yeah, we were.
Good stuff, wasn't it?
That sounded so gay.
It did. And it wasn't at all.
Beautiful.
It was absolutely gorgeous.
It was magical.
Subscribe to the Patreon to find out about that. So next we're going to move on to the Army portion of this research project at Fort Meade. The Army assembled a team of remote viewers. The Army was doing similar projects, but they weren't using proven remote viewers. They were using men of high intelligence and trying to train them to remote view. They were using really smart fucking dudes like you and me.
Oh, definitely.
They're saying, we're going to show you how to travel with your brain. And when you get there, you're going to get there, and it's going to be so fucking hot.
Save a lot of money on vacations that way, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just going to visualize that you're at a beach.
Yeah, my kids are like, we want to go to Disney. I'm like, all right, everyone huddle around the fucking laptop.
Close your eyes.
Google Earth.
Just playing beach noises. Throwing, like, spritzing water
Dude,
on them.
But I do that all the time. Like, I've gone to every place in the world with Google Maps. I'll go to the pyramids.
Yeah.
I'll go anywhere. I've done it all. My wife's like, you want to go to Washington, D.C.? I'm like, yeah, I kind of do, but I've seen everything already.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, it's not that exciting. So the Major General Edmund Thompson, he was then the Army's Assistant Chief of Staff for Intelligence, had encouraged the unit's establishment. Quote, he said, I became convinced that remote viewing was a real phenomenon, that it wasn't a hoax, he remembers. When we didn't know how to explain it, but we weren't so much interested in explaining it as in determining whether there was any practical use to it. So, in his mind, he doesn't have to debate whether it's real or not. He's just trying to debate, can we use this to our advantage? Because he full-on believes that this shit is real. He's seen it with his own eyes. He knows these people are hitting things with a success rate of 50, 60, 70%. So, it's not a question of whether it's fucking working or not. Because the shit's working, obviously. He just wants to know, can we use it to kill Kim Jong-un or Osama bin Laden, okay? Which I think is just, what if, and we'll touch on it a little later, they did use remote viewing for a lot of these crazy missions.
Right on.
They refined the methods of remote viewing at Fort Meade. They utilized I guess it was called Army Intel and Security Command, or INSCOM. There was 12 members in the, I guess, Project Stargate unit, or the unit they were using for remote viewing. They would they would utilize deep altered state methods called extended remote viewing, or ERV. So these guys would lay in a couch in a dark room, and they would kind of move into a self-hypnotic state. They would then vocally describe the images and other impressions with notes and sketches. An ordinary, intelligent person trained in the technique could, he said, be more effective practitioner than the best natural psychic. So just by teaching these guys, and this guy to this day still teaches remote viewing courses. It isn't just, excuse me. He still does it. And you get on his website, there's like remote viewing for lottery tickets, remote viewing for sports gambling.
Oh my gosh.
And you're like, is this a fucking scam or what?
Totally
dude?
sounds like it.
Such a fucking scam. And I wanted to just talk to him and be like, hey, you are a steaming bag of shit. But then the shit, it's all backed up by these CIA documents and stuff. I'm like, maybe he isn't that crazy, you know? Maybe he kind of has an inside know to this stuff. I don't know. Now, with the CRV, the viewer went through a highly structured set of verbalization sketching procedures. Although usually in an almost normal state of consciousness, the CRVer would occasionally report a brief but unnervingly vivid bilocation. That sounds really fucking odd.
That does.
A sensation that he or she was actually present at the target site. Swan taught the technique to 5 new recruits to the Fort Meade unit, and Swan was the crazy fucker in the very beginning that they got from New York. And there's another thing called blending, where in remote viewing, where you can actually remote view to someone. So someone goes to a location. Rob Dog goes to Tokyo, and they say, Nick, go to Tokyo with Rob Dog. So then I remote view, and I'm next to you in Tokyo. I can actually do the act of blending, where I step into your body, and I see... Yeah, it feels really good.
That's hot.
It's not going to hurt at all. I've heard of you use a lot of lube. It doesn't hurt. That's what my grandma always said. She'd be like, the first time you have butt sex. Oh, well, first off, make sure you got your dentures in real tight, because you get your teeth falling out when you're doing a lot of butt fucking. That's nasty. You ain't ever had dentures until you've put your dentures back in and it's got your granddad's shit on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I hope I never have to have dentures. Terrifying.
I hope I do.
Yeah,
I want some really scary, huge ones,
dude. I didn't ever really know my grandparents. They all kind of passed before I was of age.
Yeah,
but then I've been around some people's grandparents that have dentures, and they like. They take their dentures and like buck them out like a fucking horse to scare little kids.
Yeah,
and I think that is the absolute most fantastic thing in the entire world.
It's the greatest thing ever.
And I saw one guy do it at Lone Star. I used to bus tables at Lone Star, and this fucking guy went to do it. You could tell he was in from out of town. These kids weren't used to him.
Yeah,
and he kept on trying to make him laugh. And he was right near the booth where I would stand at. And he was like telling jokes and like kind of poking at him. These kids were like, what the fuck ever. And then finally he did power move. He got down eye level with him and he bucked his teeth out with his fucking dentures. Dude, these things shot out like a laser beam and they went like 6 feet down the aisle. And
oh my God.
Both his top and his bottom, dude. And no one at the table saw him do it.
Nobody saw.
Just the kids. And it was so fucking dark. And it was dark in there. And he started like looking around and he had no fucking clue what direction these teeth went in.
Oh man, that's
And he's like looking behind him like they fucking shot up and went behind him or something. And I could see the fucking teeth laying in the aisle clear as day. It's like nuts and butts, balls to the wall in there. And these kids, like, they saw his teeth shot out, and they're like, oh, fuck. He starts looking around the table, and you can see, like, after he did it, his cheeks are fucking caved in because his teeth are gone. And you see him, like, bend over to, like, some older lady, and he's like, you see him just, like, gumming her, trying to tell her something.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And he opens up his mouth and pulls his, like, lips apart. He's like, and his fucking teeth are gone. And then I hear her, she's like, where the fuck are they? And he points, like they fell out. And I walk over to the table, I'm like, your teeth are over there.
Excuse me, sir.
And he's like, can you grab them? And I'm like, no, I can't. I told him straight up, I'm like, no, dude, I can't grab them. I was like, I will direct you to the location of these dentures, but I will not touch these dentures. And
rightfully so.
I took him over there, and he just picked them up, put him right back in, dude. He didn't blow on him. He didn't dust him off.
Dude, old people don't give a fuck.
He sucked him right down like an old fucking oyster. Just put him right back in. And he sat down, and he did not talk to those little fucking bastard kids for the rest of the night. Didn't touch his food. Didn't talk to these little shitheads for the rest of the night. Fuck him. Oh man! So the CIA tasked the Army unit of Project Stargate with investigating a foreign agent that was on the CIA's payroll. Clues generated by the remote viewers, he says, and this is the Edmund, whatever his name was. Clues generated by the remote viewers, he says, pointed to specific financial misconduct by the agent. During a subsequent lie detector test conducted by his CIA handlers, the agent was confronted with the information, and he nearly fell out of his chair that the CIA knew of his financial mishandlings. And according to Mel Riley, a former Fort Meade remote viewer, his unit was asked to remote view a key KGB colonel who had been caught spying and was under interrogation by South African counterintelligence officers. Quote, he was a hard nut to crack, says Riley.
Giggity.
Yeah, right. They couldn't figure out how he was getting his information out of his country. But this guy, this remote viewer, Mel Riley, says, I saw him playing with a pocket calculator type thing. It seemed to be very important. Later on, someone else came up with the fact that he had family in Russia, and it was supposed to be his last assignment, and he was looking forward to going home. As Riley tells it, the remote viewers were right. The pocket calculator turned out to be a covert communications device, and the emotional reading of the KGB man was accurate too. When the South Africans presented the data to their captive, says Riley, he broke down and cooperated. How would you fucking know that? How?
There's really no way.
Jesus Christ.
Unless you did that.
Yes. Also, through this remote viewings, Project Stargate, they were able to gather information on key facilities in the Tehran during the 1979 to 1981 hostage crisis, terrorists and Western hostages in the Middle East, the location of Manuel Noriega during the U.S. raid on Panama in 1989, and of course the location of Muammar Gaddafi prior to the 1986 bombing raid on Libya. Other targets over the years included nuclear, chemical, and biological weapon facilities in the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, silkworm missiles along the Persian Gulf during the Iran-Iraq War, drug smuggling ships approaching U.S. coasts, and the locations of Scud missiles during the Desert Storm.
Scud missiles. You say it like that?
Fucking Scud missiles.
Scud is such a dirty sounding word.
That's what I call my big old dick when it's coming in for the kill, so watch out for this goddamn Scud missile.
Watch out for my Scud.
Speaking of Scud missiles, I took the absolute biggest shit today. I hate those poops where... Alright, I hate to fucking do this to you guys. Sometimes I poop so big it hurts my butt. And I've said this before.
I've been there before.
I think I've probably hit on maybe 2 or 3 guys in my entire life. Like hard hit on.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle a dick in my ass. I've said this before. Especially if he whipped out a Lincoln log, buddy. Just a big old fucking
big old dangler.
Pulled out a pop can.
Oh yeah.
I would cry so hard.
The big girthy boy.
Yeah, and I've missed the target and hit the sand before, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Missed the target and hit the sand. And
it happens.
It really caused a lot of pain for my wife that night. Okay? She was very upset.
Oh!
Stop. No, it was more like
like a pterodactyl.
Like I fucking hit her in the butthole with a knife.
Like a shovel.
Yeah, a shovel. It's like I put on a pair of fucking soccer cleats and got a run start and kicked her right in the butthole.
Put on some of the moon shoes and just jumped right on her asshole. Remember the things?
Yeah, the purple and black ones. Oh, we had them at the Alexander house, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Ain't no joke. So part of this remote viewing stuff is these guys didn't get fucked in the ass because it hurt too bad.
Good.
And I'm saying I don't know what the correlation here is.
Who knows? There's always correlation to butt fucking.
Yeah, anytime. So Scud missiles.
All right.
Desert Storm. Missed the target, hit the sand. One of these former officials recalled being in the room when Bush Sr. So Bush Sr. gets an intelligence briefing, and part of that intelligence briefing is the things that they were finding out and the information they're delivering via Project Stargate. And Bush Sr., his exact words, they're doing what? Sounds like a Bush thing to say.
It really does.
He had no idea of Project Stargate and no idea of what these guys were able to accomplish. But if you look back at the fucking resume right there, all of these, hostage situations and locations of biological weapons. They used these guys for everything. And they were getting stuff right, too. We come out on the top end on some of this stuff.
I don't like it.
I do like it. Now, one of the last guys we're going to touch on here, and he kind of brought great disgrace to the program and kind of brought it to an end, was old Bert Stubblebine.
With the name like Bert, you already know what you're getting yourself into.
Actually, it's Major General Albert N. Stubblebine III.
Oh, that sounds pretty. That sounds regal.
It's really fucking fancy, dude. He became head of INSCOM, the Army's Intelligence and Security Command, in 1981, the year that General Edmund Thompson, departed for another posting. With Thompson gone, Stubblebine was remote viewing's chief supporter in the Army. Stubblebine had a reputation as a lateral thinker, creative, and unafraid to take risks. And when I read this, is a weird fucking dude. He was off the goddamn reservation so far. Everyone fucking hated him. He was just really fucking crazy. He, concerned about hidebound thinking among the INSCOM staff officers, he would hold psychokinetic spoon-bending sessions with them just to shake up their worldviews. There was also neuro-linguistic programming sessions for marksmen and charisma-building courses for generals, making use of firewalks and the wisdom of self-help gurus.
Like when they'd walk across hot coals?
That seems like something Army guys would be really receptive to, is all this shit right here. Stubblebine himself liked to engage in remote viewing sessions. Stubblebine's journey eventually took him to the Monroe Institute, a privately owned center for investigation into the paranormal near Charlottesville, Virginia. At the Monroe Institute, an audio process known as hemisync, not to be confused with a semi-boner, which I get those a lot. Speaking of semi-boner, so I got this really weird work schedule, right? I wake up at 1:50 in the morning and I go to work. My body doesn't have time to wake up and go through the regular morning processes.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
That's really early.
So when I come home from work at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my body starts going through those wake-up processes, and I get really uncomfortable morning wood from about 2 o'clock until about 3:30. It hurts. And they say the best way to get rid of morning wood is just running a fucking wall as hard as you can. Just dick first. Try and taco it. You ever tacoed your dick before?
No. That just sounds horrible.
Someone wrote us a while back that broke their dick.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like, man, that would fucking suck so bad to break your dick.
I would want to die.
I'll break my fucking neck, but don't break my fucking dick.
You know how much stuff I use my dick for?
I tell my wife all the time, like, keep your hands off my dick. If you're just trying to break my dick, quit. Get your hands off my dick.
I love how much emphasis you're putting on the D. Get your hands off my dick.
Get your hands off my dick. Jesus.
Anywho, let's go back to the semi-boners here.
Getting rid of boners. I hear if you grab your thumbs really hard, like make a retarded fist, like you're trying to punch someone and break. If you grab your thumbs like this, you can make a boner go away.
I just tuck it in my waistband, man.
Some of us can't.
It feels good and it disappears.
Some of us can't do that, but I've heard if you do this, just grab your thumbs, put your thumbs inside your fists, and grab really hard, you can make a boner go away.
If I can't do waistband technique, I usually just bite it and that makes it go away.
Just bend down like a dog and just start gnawing on it like it's got fleas. Yeah, exactly.
Works every time.
Hemisync. That's where we're at.
There you go.
This hemisync was used to help induce deep altered states, which led in some cases to so-called out-of-body experiences. Stubblebine began to send his INSCOM staff officers there. I'm sure they fucking love that. And ripples of annoyance began to spread. Quote, you wear your pajamas around every morning and hug each other, says Skip Atwater.
Oh, wow.
Who is now the research director at Monroe. You can't have that in a military setting. He had 30,000 men and women out in the field, remembers Ed Dames, a former Army major and remote viewer. And instead of talking about all his units and field stations and things like that, he would spend half the time in these briefings talking about the significance of the yellow salamander that had walked across the road when he was down at the Monroe Institute.
Okay.
Sounds like a real fucking go-getter.
Is that slang for an Asian dick?
Like, as soon as we get out of here, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. I'm going to fucking hit you in the head with a fucking brick. Jesus. Stubblebine. I hate this fucking guy so much.
Stubblebine.
What a stupid idiot. I hope he's still alive. I hope someone did hit him in the head with a brick. He had other problems as well, including a financial corruption scandal involving some of his covert action squads. But according to former colleagues, the fatal blow to his career came in 1983 when an INSCOM staff officer, Lieutenant Doug P., visited the Monroe Institute for the Hemi-Seq treatment. Shortly after he had started the process, Lieutenant P. emerged from his darkened room and began to wander through the Monroe hallways naked and incoherent. Quote, he was taken away literally in a straitjacket, says Dames. He had some stability problems even before he got there, notes Atwater. There are thousands of people who come through the Institute and don't have psychotic breakdowns. Stubblebine, he eventually left the military and married a UFO abductee.
Good for him. Good for him.
We can be
So
fucking
fitting.
weird together. You know, I didn't used to act like this, but then one day after a meeting, I really upset some people and they hit me in the head with a fucking brick. Now I have to watch cartoons anytime I poop. Yeah.
Oh, man. In 1988, a Defense Department Inspector General's team descended on the remote viewing unit's office, demanding to see files. Dames and Riley both claimed that some of these responsible for the unit responded very much in the spirit of Oliver North. Quote, a lot of things, says Riley, were being shredded and disposed of, which probably would not have been appropriate had the
Definitely not.
the Inspector General's team come across them. Dames remembers they were burning the shredders all day and some of the night.
Shit.
And the Project Stargate officially came to an end in 1989. But
Or as we know how this thing goes, it was just renamed and set up under something different.
exactly, and I think that with the success rate here,
Yeah.
stuff they were finding out, not far-fetched to think that this thing might still be going on.
Yeah, definitely.
For certain. For certain.
Especially, yeah, and I would think that anything that would have been, that would have had a success rate, even if it was shut down, is going to just be renamed and
Oh, yeah.
continue to go.
I mean,
through.
all these guys are still active and still doing stuff. Not more so in, I guess, private sector.
That's why nobody wanted to talk to us.
Yeah, it is. But he's like, oh, and for one payment of, well, it said $149, and then it had a red line through it. So probably about $99 is my guess. You can become a remote viewer of lottery tickets,
Oh, that's dope.
sports betting, guys that don't 69 anymore. A lot of different stuff.
Just
you can-
guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Girls. I'm never bringing this down here ever again.
I was hoping it was going to say something.
How many buttons are on that?
6. oh, God.
Dick growling.
That's a swamp donkey.
What's the name of this book here we got?
Frozen 2, Stronger Together.
Yeah. Roll through them. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Fucking, we're blowing it right now, Rob Dog.
It's the end. Who cares?
Yeah. They made it this far. This is what they're here for.
In the words of Elsa.
I think I know where the voice is coming from.
Don't we all, baby girl?
Yeah. Elsa's she's a thought, dude. She's
Both of them.
Yeah. Nah, I don't like Anna that much.
I do.
I've had bad luck with redheaded people my entire life. I've got one I can't get rid of no matter what I fucking do. Oh. So,
Hell,
this concludes Project Stargate. So what do you think,
Stargate
Rob Dog?
Project. I think it's fucking cool. I want to be able to do it.
Well, you can. There's lots of training courses online. If you go to YouTube and type in, there's one specific video where Vice covers an alleged remote viewer,
Yeah.
and they send a lady to a spot, and they have him remote view to go to this location.
Okay.
And this guy nails a lot of shit that this lady is seeing around her, and it's fucking crazy to see him doing it. I had a Ranker article here that had some things that I think I had all these in the research, actually. Yeah, I'm not going to double back through this article at all. Okay, yeah. I'm going to put all of the research that we got in the episode description. So if you guys want to go to the Ranker
Cool.
article and read some of this stuff, it's kind kind of some cool stuff here.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
As for me, I think that there's some wild shit going on. I think it definitely worked. I think it's still going on.
Definitely. I would say so too.
It's really cool stuff, man.
Yeah, if it is in fact true, and if they did in fact have some sort of success out of it, it's more than likely still continuing to go on.
Yeah, and if you are a remote viewer, honestly, send us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com.
It can be completely anonymous. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we would like to talk to you on like a Patreon episode or something, see about what your thoughts are on remote viewing, what kind of things that you've seen.
Yeah, you can remote view into here, and we can interview you in person.
You don't want to come in here.
In hologram form.
Yeah.
We'll put you right in the litter box.
Like 2-pack.
Yeah, just like 2-pack.
Come see us October 26th at the Lucky Star Brewery.
Please come.
We want to sell that motherfucker out, even though we're not selling tickets.
Nah, we want to pack it.
It's completely free.
The more people come, the more likely we are to be able to do a show there next year.
Yeah.
And this is our third one in a row, so we're making good headway.
Speaking of packing it, have you ever heard somebody use the term packing fudge?
Yes, I have.
I think that's really cool. I really like when people say that.
Okay.
Like, you're a fucking fudge packer. When I was a kid, I'd pack my lunch, and my dad always be like, "Oh, are you?" Because I always had really cool lunch boxes.
Yeah.
I had a Flintstones one that was shaped like a rock with a bone handle on it.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
And my dad would always be like, "Oh, are you a fudge packer?" Like, ask me if I was packing fudge,
Yeah, Dad.
But it was just my dad being like me. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking back now to it. Like, I remember in the 4th grade, this guy fucking being like, "All right, how much fudge you packing today?" I'm like,
Oh, I didn't bring any fudge in here, Dad. You big fucking jokester.
"You want to stop and get me some fudge?" That'd be real. Because I was a fat kid, you know. I went to fat camp. There's a story about that.
There is.
the
It's in one of our episodes.
Clinton's episode.
Okay, there you go. At least you remember that.
Healthy snacks. He's like, "You packing fudge there? How much fudge you packing today, fatty?" "How much fudge you packing today, fat girl?"
All of it, Dad.
3?
Yeah, I got peanut butter fudge, chocolate fudge, poop fudge. Oh, you talking about if I'm getting fucked in the ass at school? Is that true?
What a fucking asshole. Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, so good.
Another fucked up thing my dad used to do, we would keep on saying his name, and after like the 15th time we'd say his name, he'd be like, "My name's Chuck." He'd like fucking change his name. "My name's Fred." And it used to piss me off so bad. And still to this day, I'll call him like, "Hey, Dad." He'd be like, "My name's not Dad. It's Chuck." Fucking pisses me off.
He's the king of dad jokes.
He doesn't respect me. That's the thing. I need to do something to show dominance. I'm going to piss on him.
So you got to fuck him.
I'm going to piss on him in the shower.
Okay.
I'm like, "Dad, come in here. Get naked. Let me piss on your feet." That's the
Spread your butt for me.
Yeah. I love pissing on my wife's feet in the shower. That is the ultimate display of affection, I believe.
Power move.
Yeah. To take what's inside of you and put it on her. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Yeah, I would say so.
No, absolutely not. Jesus Christ. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Oprah Winfrey Podcast. Like I said, I'm your co-host, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm the
You're Joe
badass Billy Gunn.
You're Joe Rogan.
I'm Joe. Okay. Love you guys.